Hi, this is JT, and you are watching Positive Feedback Loop, where we have great conversations with interesting people. Today, I'm joined by none other than Chad Harvey. He is a musician, videographer, and just an overall good friend. Chad, thank you very much for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so our friendship starts off on a started off, I should say, on a non-traditional end. And
We did not get off on a traditional foot.
no, because it was back in the day, probably 2013, I would say, was about when just our paths crossed. I don't know how the conversation started, but I think it goes back to Twitter. I had some friends who would retweet you, and there would just be funny comments or just something music related.
Well, the Cardinals were in the playoffs, and I was live tweeting it with GIFs, and I was being snarky, as I thought you do on Twitter, back when I used to use it. But yeah, I was just live tweeting these baseball games. Playoff Cardinals baseball, it's I love it. And I think I was live tweeting it because I was actually in an apartment with my family, because we were actually displaced from my home because they got hit with a tornado earlier that year in 2013. I think it was about March, and we were out of that house for like the whole year. But yeah, so I had time on my hands, and I was just tweeting, and you came up to me at was it a
Ruby Tuesday?
I don't even know if that's around anymore.
I don't know. I think so. I think there's
You came up to me and addressed me by my Twitter handle.
Oh my gosh.
And you said, "Excuse me, are you Chitter Chatter?" And my entire family is sitting at this booth table with me. And I was like, "Yeah." And you asked if I was friends with Stephen Bear. And I was like, "Yeah." And you're like, "Oh my God, I love your tweets." And I was like, "Who the hell are you?"
Which is, I'm not surprised, just thinking about who I am as a person.
Yeah.
I don't know, that was a combination of, when a fan turned into a friend. I think that was a moment where I'm sure that some people have been, a minor celebrity sighting in my eyes.
Right.
That was my moment, because
it's like, I'm a nobody, but I was for sure more of a nobody then. I lived with my parents. I was going to community college, and I was just tweeting the baseball game.
It worked. Yep. And that's how it began. I think that's how, just an example of just, you never know where a conversation can lead. Every conversation is an opportunity. And hopefully, me at that great establishment of Ruby Tuesday, didn't come off as too eager, but it was like one of those things where, you see somebody online and part of you thinks, hey, I know this person. And that's something about social media that is different, from the past, where you didn't really have that personality that went along with. And I think that's what maybe provided me with the guts to say, hey, are you this person? Based on that. And it wasn't any like a, oh my gosh, like freaking out moment.
No,
it was
It was actually, you were just like, are you Chitter Chatter? And I was like, what the fuck is happening right now? I was like, yeah, am I in trouble? Like, did something happen?
Undercover boss type of thing. Yeah. You're at a restaurant. But yeah, it was, and then from there, I think we
found out that we had quite a few mutual friends. I ran into you again later that year, with Tyler and Buddy. You were busking Main Street, And
Yeah.
it was my final semester of community college, and I was taking a photography class, and I just needed to take photos for this freaking class. So Tyler, Buddy, and we went to Main Street, and we were just taking photos of strangers, and there you were, just on the street, playing songs, and then we were like, oh my god! And I was like, wait, you guys know this guy? And he was like, we all know each other, and then you squatted up with us, and we just carried on the night taking photos and stuff.
Oh my gosh, I remember because I think Buddy was wearing, was it a Power Ranger?
He had a Green Ranger.
A Green Ranger.
Green Ranger costume, yeah.
Yeah, and I went to school with Buddy, and who went to church with Tyler, and who went to school, I think, with you. I think that maybe have been the...
Yeah, Tyler and I were school. They were living together, and
there it was.
I printed out one of those photos for, like, my final portfolio, and it was just Buddy in a green Power Ranger costume. I was like, yeah, that's my friend. Yeah. And you were on there, too. And it's like, here's JT playing guitar on Main Street. Yeah, that was funny. That was the second time I ran into you. And we've just never lost touch.
Which is...
Crazy.
Crazy.
It's about to be 10 years.
It's about to be 10 years.
A decade.
A decade under the influence.
Yeah.
That's who we are. But I was probably playing down Main Street. Was it for Picasso's?
You were outside of Picasso's.
Okay.
So I wouldn't be surprised if you had played that night, and the open mic night slot wasn't enough time for you, and you were just playing for the passerbys, having a great time. You had, there were a group of ladies that were like, oh, there's JT, and we were just like, whoa, what the heck? Like, yeah, you had some people buzzing around you, and then we just swept you away with us. You're like, the guys are here, let's hang.
But that was, and just kind of just going with the flow and having that really laid back, up for anything kind of personality is really, is refreshing at a time in my life where I was on dialysis whenever we met. And so music for me was one of those things that I could take that time out of my life, take that chunk, focus on that, and really enjoy what I was doing. And, we found out that we had a similar taste in music, and that you yourself were in a band. You had your own little solo project, and then you played with a couple other guys, and eventually got to play at the Enterprise Center with the Blues, which is these kind of things that you get to...
Another product of social media.
Happen. Yeah, and so there are good things that can happen when you meet people on the internet. But one thing that always really impressed me about you and continues to impress me is that you follow your heart, you follow your passion, and you care so deeply about music and videography. You have your own company with your wife, and the work that you do and the people that you impact is just incredible. You got to, you helped me record some music where, music was an outlet, and that was a really great connection that we have.
Yeah.
And you instruct me through the process. You're very patient. You are able to make me sound better than I could have ever imagined. But the reason why I wanted to have you on my show is just to thank you for being just that person that I can look and see that I never know what you're doing next. I never know where you're going. But I know that there is music involved. There's a camera. You're with the love of your life, and you are creating and spreading joy. And I really appreciate the time that you take to spend with me. And you helped me record a little EP about my time spent on dialysis, about just capturing the emotions, and you helped really bounce ideas and lyrics and created a story that I've been able to share with friends and coworkers that have really been impressed with what I do. So thank you for that. Thank you for giving that time to amplify, joys in my life by doing what you do.
Well, thanks, man.
You're good at what you do. I trust the work that you do, and
I'm trying.
You're trying.
I'm trying.
But yeah, so with that said, what are some things on your horizon? What's next on the plate for you? With your job and where you see yourself in maybe a year and 5 years.
Well, so my videography, my wife started a photography company. Well, her photography business, right as we met in 2016. And she's been pursuing that, and it's just been so great watching it grow year after year. And we finally reached a point towards the end of last year where, I was doing marketing, I was screen printing originally too, at a screen printing company. And so as I'm working there, she's starting this business, and she's so freaking good at what she does. We reached a point where I could step down from working elsewhere and do the wedding videography that I do with her full time. So she is and always will be the brains behind her business, but she's cool enough to let me tag along and do video when clients are interested in getting video for their wedding. And it's such a great time. I'm very lucky to be able to do that with her. And we're already booking 2024. I think the goal is to just keep at it. This is the first time that in a long time that I feel like I'm not juggling 5,000 things at once. So on the horizon is actually just catching my breath. That's been really nice. Like, as you just walked through chaos to get in here, we're in the middle of doing spring cleaning, which we've never been able to do in our relationship because I was working full-time elsewhere, and when I would get home, it would be golden hour. So then she would have to go out to do photography. Mm-hmm. And the wedding industry, it's the weekends. So granted, I would be working those weekends sometimes with her too. But when I wasn't, it was almost like our schedules were just ships passing in the night. So it's so great that we can just be together. So my horizon is put all of our energy into our business, enjoy our time together, and then with music, I now have time to pursue that again, which is great. So the world is open again. So I'm going to start playing some shows by myself. Probably hit up some open mic nights like you used to do.
Yeah.
Grab the old acoustic.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my horizon right now.
Well, that sounds absolutely fantastic, and you have done so much to enrich my life. How can I help you through this process?
Keep reaching out to me to hang like this because I'm horrible at staying in touch with people and putting effort into relationships. It's probably a product of my wife and I's relationship. I feel like our the spare energy we always put into maintaining our relationship, mm-hmm. and not everyone else around us. And now it's so great. People would think it's crazy, but the fact that we can work together all day, spend time together, I'm ready to. I played, no joke, I've played Xbox 2 nights in a row these past 2 nights, which is crazy. Which my buddies who game, they will tell you that I get on once a year, and they go, all right, we'll see you next year. And that's like a running joke with them. I played 2 nights in a row, and they're like, so when are you taking your 7-month break? When are we going to see you next year? I'm like, I don't know. I'm just enjoying the time. So I feel like I've been very reliant on you putting effort into our relationship, staying in touch, working together. I loved songwriting with you. That was such a fun process for me to be able to help you express yourself and get out these moments that you've gone through the beauty of songwriting and music. But just stay in touch. I think that's all I need you to do to support me. Stay in touch. I will do better. I will do better holding up my end of doing that. I promise. That's on the horizon for me as well. Is giving back to others. So more of my time and energy.
Well, I think I can do that.
Yeah.
I think I can keep reaching out. I appreciate you joining me on this project and on the show. We look forward to what the future holds, the brighter days ahead.
Oh yeah.
And I love you, man.
I love you too, dude. Should we shake? Should we hug? Or should we just finger gun? Or put her there?
Put her there.